flooded Michigan Avenue last night, smashing car windows, trying to get into Millennium Park, prompting a major police response. Officers were escorting tourists and visitors to their cars in the Millennium Park parking garage.
What I see out here is completely ludicrous, to be honest with you. I'm a part of what I see. I'm from Chicago, and I understand kids having a good time, but this is simply bad parenting. We have to do better as parents. Our kids should not be out here. Where are their parents at? That's my question.
Another male driver was injured when teens started jumping on his windshield, smashing it. Then they beat the man up as he sat in the driver's seat. He was taken to Northwestern Hospital.
What's going on, everyone? Starts with Kenny here today. We're reacting to what's been going on with Chicago. I waited a few days, but it seems like most of the information has come out. So as you've seen from the intro, that is a lack of parenting, right? But it's hard for the black community to really to parent when majority of them are raised by single mothers. That's a fact. When conservatives bring up the fact that fatherlessness is is one of the core issues that the black community face, Democrats don't want to hear it. Black people seem like they don't want to hear it. They don't want any critique where it's saying when the burden of performance is on the individual. Democrats don't want it. They don't like responsibility. They don't want people to be responsible for themselves because they want the state to be responsible. Because if the state is responsible, then the state can demand more power from its people. Right. And I digress. I just want to get into it with this leftist Chicago mayor elect saying that don't demonize them. But I don't think any critique of these kids is demonization. Like what the black lady did in the intro. She just said this is a lack of parenting. How all these kids can be out here past a certain time. Where their parents at? Poverty working, poverty sleeping, poverty tired from work. Because look, I come from a single parent household. Right. Mine was more of a co-parenting situation. But I understand my mom would come in working late. I had like a lot of time freedom to myself, but I was a kid with my head on straight. But if you're a kid without your head on straight and you have all that time to yourself, you end up doing something foolish like going out, breaking into malls with a group of people. But hey, I digress. Let's get into the article. So leftist Chicago mayor-elect after teenagers violent rampage through the city. Don't demonize them. He sound like a single mom. And this is the kind of perception I have of the government when the Democrats run it. They treat people like a mother. They're mothering people. Oh, you don't need to do anything for yourself. Oh, I'll take care of this for you. I'll take care of this for you. And what happens to mama's boys that get taken care of by their mom? They won't be able to do anything for themselves. Mama, always crying for their mama. And this is what the black community has become. Always crying for the government. Do something instead of you doing something for yourself. And this is why I try to push back a lot against like this narrative that black people aren't accountable for their own actions. I see black people as just as capable as anyone else. Black people can show up on time, but people are like, oh no, like don't demand any standards. Don't put any standards on black folks. That's racism. I don't subscribe to that logic. After teenagers went on a violent rampage in downtown Chicago Saturday night in which 2 people were shot, leftist Chicago mayor-elect Brandon Johnson said Sunday that people shouldn't demonize them, aka you shouldn't criticize them. That's what it's taken nowadays. And I made a comment before in a previous video. I think it was about the Justin Pearson, and I was saying how it's funny how accountability is racism now, and this is what it's turned into. These people come from an emotional reasoning point of view where it's like, oh, any negative criticism is demonization. No, it's saying the truth. Is this fact true or false? If you say a statement that's true about the black community, like them being one of the poorest people, group of people in America, someone's gonna say that's racist because I'm highlighting them based on their race. But when you use race referencing stats, they don't call that racism. Oh, I'm a black American. They don't see that as racism. Instead of saying, oh no, you're an American. I can make the same argument that saying calling someone black American specifying their race is racism. Because you're highlighting their race. But if I use a stat that highlights something negative about a certain group of people, people are going to say that's racist. Like the world we live in, right? Over 100 teenagers participated in a violent activity which included torching cars, engaging in massive fights, and trying to breach police barricades. 2 teenage boys aged 16 and 17 were shot. 15 people were arrested. But Johnson, the city mayor-elect, lectured critics of the teenagers, issuing a statement in which he said he did not condone the destructive activities we saw in the Loop and Lakefront this weekend, but then implied that the teenagers' behavior were not completely their fault. See, here it is. Oh, they can't control themselves. Someone's in the background controlling them. Like, this is not a superhero movie. Intoning, however, is not constructed to demonize youth who have otherwise been starved of opportunities in their community. And whose fault is that? To me, I don't blame racism for, oh, there's a lack of opportunity in our areas. No, I blame the previous generation of blacks that were in that area that didn't create any opportunities for their kids, right? Because as a parent, this is how I think as a parent. And maybe people think differently, but this is how I think as a parent. I have my son. My butt, I'm working my ass off to make sure he got Kumon. And you don't know what Kumon is? Because it's a tutoring program, right? My kid's 2. My kid's 2 years old. He's already knowing how to write and all this stuff because I want him to have an advantage, because that's my job as a parent, to set my kid up with as much advantages as possible compared to the other kids. If I was looking at this like a competition, if I put my kid into, like, let's take sports, because sports is a lot simpler concept for everyone to understand. If I put my son in basketball training at 2 years old and you wait to put your son in basketball training until 5 years old, by the time both our kids are 5, who's gonna be the better player without even seeing them play? You're gonna pick my son, obviously. Same thing for education. It's the same concept. But for some reason, a lot of people don't understand that. What you put in, you get out, right? I learned this in sports all my life. The work you put in is the work you get out. So I'm setting up my son with all the advantages I can. And if he's not in a good position, like if he's not in a good neighborhood, that's my fault. I said, damn, I didn't make enough money. Damn, I didn't put myself in a great position so I could set my son up for a better position. That's how I think as a parent. And that's how I project that bias or that perception or that belief onto other people. When there's a lack of opportunity, I blame the previous generation. I'm saying, hey, the people that had this community last, they didn't build any businesses there. They didn't create anything there. They sat around and waiting for people to do something for them, right? And then when these businesses do come, like these black-owned businesses that was in Chicago during the 2020 riots with the George Floyd stuff, y'all destroyed their businesses. And they're like, yo, that was all my life savings. I can't fix this anymore. I have to go bankrupt. I'll have to close down because I don't have the money to replace all this. The insurance said they're not covering this. And then when you lose that shoe shop down the street, you're gonna say, oh, they sell outs. I'm like, no, you destroy their stuff. It's a two-way street. You can't be like, hey, I want you to have your businesses here in Chicago so my kids can have opportunities. But at the same time, you're looting, stealing, walking out of the store with all their stuff because you know the police ain't gonna get there in time to stop you. And then you want to get mad when Walmart closes.
Going to be joined by local lawmakers and other church representatives at the Walmart Supercenter on South Stewart Street. Walmart says the closures are due to those stores costing the company millions in losses.
The stores closing are in Chatham, Kenwood, Lakeview, and Little Village, and one of those just had a major theft as well. 6 TVs that were taken right out of the store in Chatham. CPD says a woman got out of a red Buick, SUV, went into the store and grabbed the televisions and left. Police are still looking for her right now.
Hey, that's the results. That's the results of not condoning bad behavior. People are gonna be like, hey, I don't want to be a part of this. But hey, I digress. Our cities must work together to create spaces for youth to gather safely and responsibly under adult guidance and supervision, to ensure that every part of our community remains both welcoming for both residents and visitors, he continued to saying it was a part of his comprehensive approach to improve public safety and make Chicago livable for everyone. Look, talk is cheap, bro. Like, every Democrat and their mama been promising a comprehensive approach to improving public safety when majority of y'all states, the top 27 states, 27 states out of the top 30 states with the highest crime rates are democratically ran by Democrats. But y'all still want me to sit here and expect y'all to do something like comprehensive. Okay, I'm waiting to see. Maybe you'll be the first, Brandon Johnson. Maybe. Johnson was slammed for his statements by critics. He couldn't make it through the first paragraph without excusing the rioters. Yeah, even though you don't condone it, you're making excuses for it. And this is the enabling behavior that Democrats are prone to doing. Like a mother, like my mom, she parented in a way where it's kind of enabling, right? And I could have if I was a bad kid, I could have manipulated my mom to get anything I want. And this is what happens with a lot of kids. I'm gonna say something uncomfortable on some uncomfortable truths. Maybe some black single moms will get mad at me, but at the age of 16, most boys, like black boys I grew up with in the hood, they knew they could manipulate their mom and get anything they want at 16. Imagine that. Imagine what kind of power a boy has at 16 years old, that he knows, oh, I know how to get exactly what I want from my mom. I know what I need to do or say to get away with doing certain things. The kids that were acted the worst in school were the ones raised by single moms. I'm being honest with you. Even me, when I was younger, I was a bad kid. Because I knew, oh, my mom's working at this time. So even if they call her, she can't answer. Like people don't want to admit this, but hey, there's a reason why kids that statistically come from a married household, 2-parent household, they do better in life. Because you can't play that game with 2 people. You can't. My son can't do that. When he gets in trouble with my wife, he comes to me and I'm like, hey, no, go to timeout. He knows, oh, I can't just pick, oh, they try to make my parents fight over me. No, I don't play that. We don't play that. It's a united front. But hey, man, I digress, man. I've been rambling too much, man. So he couldn't condone it. You couldn't even make it through the first paragraph without making excuses for the rioters. They'll get more of the unrest and looting since they are not being held responsible. True. It's the society's fault. So individuals can do as they please. No ownership. No responsibility. This is why I say personal responsibility is more empowering than victimhood. Because at the end of the day, victimhood is all about, hey, I want to give people an alibi. I want my alibi. Oh, I'm black. Oh, I didn't come from I don't have any opportunities. This is why I'm doing this out of desperation. People are looking for excuses to do what they want to do, but they don't want to accept the responsibility for it. And the minute you send them to jail for doing that, oh no, the system's corrupt. No one told you to do the crime. But hey, I digress. This goes to more unrest. We already said this. Your soft hand position will lead to more crimes and more deaths. You will bankrupt Chicago. Step aside. Citizens deserve to live in a safe city. Look, I have a lot of people here in my community. They moved from Chicago. I see why. If this is what you get. And then there's something else I want to touch on too. So this is more video from what happened. Matt Walsh gave a comment. White women viciously attacked by a group of black teens. You absolutely never see videos like this with the race reverses. Never does it exist. At some point, we need to have a discussion what kind of violence literally always goes one way, right? So he's trying to make the argument that, hey, I never seen this happen with a bunch of white people attacking a black person. And then Maj, okay, so everyone is calling for an uncomfortable conversation about race. Well, here it is. So Maj took issue with this. Here's a still photo of the same type of attack, but much worse. You deliberately attempt to race bait and divide Americans, and it's the clownery we come to expect from you, right? And I comment on this. I don't think my tweet was big enough to actually make it on here, but I commented on this. Let's see. Maybe I got a dislike. Who knows? Yeah. See. Okay. So this is my tweet I put. I said, let's talk about current events. So this is the tweet thread. I'm sorry. I should have led in with this. I was like, hey, Matt wants to talk about current events and asks to have a discussion about race in America in 2023. I said, you bring up a picture 80 years in the 80 plus years in the past and label Matt a race baiter. People can't move forward if they keep looking back. And this is what I'm talking about. It seems like Black America has this obsession with history they never personally experienced. History that they're how you say it, projecting onto themselves. Oh, look, these people looked at me. They went through slavery. I went through slavery. This is the concept they take. And I don't know if I can show this because this guy put this still photo of people being hung, and he's comparing a woman getting mobbed to someone getting lynched. How is that even the same? Now, if you're saying, oh, like, black people started hanging white people, okay, maybe you can make this argument. But all it does is fuel fire about this racial division. Oh, I had it worse. You never personally experienced lynching, Maj. Like, I don't understand what's this obsession with keep trying to judge America where it was. I'm judging America where it's at 2023, and it still has work to do. There's still that 10% of racism that we have to deal with. But 90% of it is already done in the 60s. Martin Luther King did most of the heavy lifting. But these people want to come up here and act like they're the new Martin Luther King. They still got problems they need to fix. Racism only affects people at a personal level. I can agree to that. But if you're trying to make structural racism, systematic racism, oh no, I need proof for that. I ain't going to just believe your interpretation. Because at the end of the day, that's, to me, you're looking for an alibi. You're trying to find something to excuse your behavior. And this is what it seems like to me. That Maj is just trying to excuse their behavior. Oh, they're acting off of racism from the past, and it's fueling them. The legacy of slavery went through their bodies, and they're attacking this white lady because she represented what happened to their ancestors. Like, huh? People are responsible for their own actions, and If you personally did something wrong, you have to personally be accountable for that. But I don't understand. To me, this was clownery. This was clownery. Because like a guy was actually open to have a race discussion, and you come in here and you say, "Oh, America, we expect this clownery from you." You're doing the same shit. I'm sorry if I curse, but he's doing the same ish. He bring up something, but the problem with your argument, Maj, is that his is today, 2023. Name me the last time someone got lynched in America in the 2000s. You can't. You're going back into problems that's already been solved. That's not an issue anymore. How about this issue? Since you want to talk about, let's talk about race in America. Here's a conversation that black people don't want to have. Most other groups of people see black people as more likely to be racist than any other group in America. Here, take a look.
The Rasmussen poll has found that of the 4 major racial groups in America, blacks, whites, Hispanics, and Asians, when asked which group is more likely to be racist, whites say blacks are more likely, Asians say blacks are more likely, Hispanics say blacks are more likely, and get this, blacks say blacks are more likely.
Hey, other groups feel now they're not saying oh black people are racist, but they're just saying hey if I were to experience racism, black people will be the main perpetrator of that, right? And even with hate crimes, remember when San Francisco stopped Asian hate? The number one perpetrator of Asian hate was black people. If you look at crime that happens into an interracial, 85% of the cases is a black perpetrating against a white victim. Hey, that sounds like a discussion that needs to be had. When end of the day, I condone racism in all its forms. I don't care if you're being racist towards a white person, Asian person, black person. I condemn all of it, but I hold all of them equally at the same weight. But some people out here, they think, oh, because of your skin color, you can perpetrate in the same action, but it won't be perceived the same way. Like what? This is subjective. This is a subjective metric. Oh, I'm a black person. I have no power in society, so therefore I can't be racist. Okay, if I put that logic for a white person like what's his name, Scott Adams, who made a comment about oh we should just stay away from black people. People call him racist. I was like he don't got no power in society. His comments technically is not racist if I go by the definition people use for excusing black people's racism. But people ain't gonna accept that. Oh, he's white, he got privilege. Okay, you're assuming all that. Isn't that racism too? Just like I would assume if I see a black person, he's poor, he's dumb, he can't be successful in life on his own. Wouldn't that be racist if I assume something about someone based on their color of their skin? It's the same thing with white privilege. That's racism. White guilt, same thing, racism. If I say, oh, you have black guilt, you feel bad about being successful because you know usually black people are poor and unsuccessful in their lives. Like we can play this game like end of the day, racism is racism. And people want to get mad at me in the comment section. You can go ahead and try, but that ain't changing. Like that's a hill I'm willing to die on, because I believe I'm created equal. I believe I'm not inferior to anybody, and I don't believe I'm superior to anybody. So, hey, you pro-blacks can come at me in the comment section. I don't really care. But, hey, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.